Welcome everyone. This is my first video. My name is Warcraft Nuts, and I'm going to be going through World of Warcraft, and this happens to be Season of Discovery. So we're going to do a Season of Discovery tutorial video on creating a character, choosing your class, your race, so on and so forth. So we'll get started. First we've got here is the World of Warcraft page. Now this I just disconnected so that doesn't show any of my personal information, but once you download the game, install it, you'll get to sign into it, and it'll look like something like this. So I've got a couple of characters already on here that I've been playing for a while, since the first phase of Season of Discovery. So I've got at least one max level character on here. So once that gets loaded, we will start with a new character, and this is the beginning of your journey. Now, a journey I started probably 20 years ago, and I still love this game. We'll see if we can actually start. Hey, look at that, huh? So, game's kind of loaded out right now. It's not going to show my characters, and that's okay. So, first thing, you get to choose between Alliance and Horde. Point of view on who is the good guy and the bad guy, that's part of the fun. You can read some of the lore, go through some of the history of this game, and you can decide for yourself. Personally, I've always had a slight affinity for the Horde. I don't know if it's an underdog situation or what, but I've always liked them. So let me go back real quick. There we go. So these are some of my characters. These ones are all Alliance on this character, on this realm, just because I have buddies that play on here. So let's go back. There we go. Now we're not grayed out. So, first thing we're going to do is go through the Alliance races, okay? So you've got 4 races here. You've got Human, Dwarf, Night Elf, and of course the little guy, the Gnome. You can choose between Body 1 and Body 2, which is male or female, depending on your choice. Now, each of these races are going to have different classes. Now, the classes are your job title or your profession. So let's click on Human here. So you can be a warrior, you can be this is a paladin, rogue, priest, mage, or warlock. We'll go through those kind of individually. First we'll go through the races. So humans, now on the right side here, it's going to give you kind of a brief description of the Alliance, the faction you're in, the human race, and then the class abilities that you kind of picked. So let's click on warrior here because that's easier. So as humans, it gives you a brief summary of humans. Now in these yellow areas here, this is going to give you kind of bonuses that the human race will have. So stealth detection is increased, so there are classes that can stealth. So you'll have a little bit better chance of detecting them. Increased spirit, that is one of the primary stats for, I guess, mana regeneration. So in the warrior, you don't use mana at all, so it's kind of a useless stat for a warrior, but we'll move on. Now, bonus reputation gains. Now there are different factions within the game. So there's humans, there's all these different races are going to have different reputations. So you can gain reputation faster as a human. Now, some of these races too have innate abilities with certain weapons. The humans have swords and maces skill increase. So you'll start out a little bit higher with maces and swords, and what that does is once you kind of max out that your skill with a sword or a mace, it gives you a slightly better hit chance where you won't miss a hit. So it is kind of handy. Now once you get on to the final one here, warrior, this one gives you kind of a general overview of warrior. In Classic here, it doesn't give you a lot. The newer versions, like such as Dragonflight and so on, those will give you a much more detailed, I guess, synopsis of the warrior's abilities, whether you're going to be DPS or a tank. Now, that's a whole other thing. We'll get into that in a minute. Dwarf, same thing up here. Now, Dwarf's abilities may take on a stone form. So what that's just going to do is it means it increases your armor for a little bit. Skill with guns is increased, so if you were a dwarf hunter, you'd have a little bit better gun damage, and it'd be the same thing. You get that better hit chance later on. Frost resistance, and you can find treasures, okay? Go down to Night Elf. Now, Night Elves are kind of sweet actually, like this. May fade into the shadows, so you can have a racial ability that kind of stealths you, so people won't be able to see you, which is actually really handy. Dodge is increased. Wisp form while dead, so when you die, you go back as a ghost to go find your corpse. This one's a wisp, so when you're a wisp, you move a little bit faster so you can get back to your corpse a little faster. They're also resistant to nature damage. You've got probably, I think, an extra 5 or 10 points of the nature resist. Now, going on to Gnome, may escape from speed altering effects. So they'll have an ability where if you cast it, it's not an instant cast, it's I think like a 1 second cast, but say you get bound somewhere, you can't move, you're stuck in place, you can use this and it'll get you out of it, so you won't have to use any other abilities or trinkets. So essentially you have a second trinket almost. Intelligence increased, resist to arcane damage, and engineering skill. So this one's got a profession skill increase. That's pretty handy, especially if you really go profession heavy with your game. Now moving on to the horde side, we've got orcs, undead, tauren, and trolls. Now I've always been, because I'm partial to this side, my first character was an undead mage back in 2000 and probably 2009, long time ago. So we'll start with orc. Again, the top box here is going to be the faction you're in. Second's going to be your race. So main rage, increase damage but diminishing ability to be healed. So this one means you can, when you enrage, you're going to increase your probably either amount of damage or the speed at which you attack. Probably the amount of damage you do. Resist to stun effects, damage done increased by pets. So if you were going to be a hunter with the orc, your pet would do more damage than a normal hunter's pet would. Same with the skill, axe increased, it's a weapon. Undead, I'm a huge fan of undead. May become immune to fear, sleep, and charm. So that is essentially kind of like the gnome. It's almost like a second trinket or second ability. Which doesn't use up a regular ability, because a lot of these abilities have cooldowns, but we'll get into that later. May consume corpses to regain health, so cannibalism is what that's called. So if you kill someone, a humanoid at least, and say they hit you down to 50 points out of your 150, well, you can go eat their corpse and regain about 80% of that health. Pretty handy. Underwater breathing increase, so when you go underwater, you've got probably about a 20 to 30 second timer until you run out of air. Undead is maybe 40-second timer, so it's a little bit longer. Taurens, now these are the big cows, they're kind of cool. Taurens may stomp, stunning nearby enemies. So if you've ever dabbled in the game before, there's an ability called Thunderclap, and basically you just stomp the ground, stunning everyone around you, maybe for only 2 seconds, but it's a good skill to have. Maximum health is increased, herbalism increased, so here we go, another profession increase right here. And then moving on to trolls, berserk, increasing attack and casting speed. So if you were a caster or even a melee one, you would get an attack speed. So say your attack is 2.0, well, you use this, and for 20 seconds your attack is now 1.7 seconds instead of 2. So it goes up a little bit. Damage increased versus beasts, and then throwing and bow weapon skill also increased. So again, this would be a good hunter, or a good race for a hunter, because you have the bow skill increase. Now, going through to the jobs or the classes. Now they're a warrior, hunter. Warrior is pretty much in the rogue, priest, shaman, and mage. Warrior is going to be a tank or a DPS, and a tank is a character who gathers mobs, takes huge hits, takes tons of damage, and is able to withstand most of it. I mean, you'll have to have a healer with you, but a DPS would not be able to take as much damage as a tank would. So tank is going to be your main party mate. Hunter goes through. They've got pets with different abilities. Some have stun, some have taunt, and a taunt is something a tank would have. So essentially, your pet could be a tank. Rogues are independent DPS class where all specs they have are DPS. Priests can be DPS which is, I should explain that, damage per second, or they can be healing. So with Priest, you'll cast holy spells or discipline spells to heal your target and recover HP. Shaman, very similar. They deal mostly with elemental damage. So you're going to have like lightning bolts and fireballs and such like that. Now they also can do healing. Mages are strictly DPS class again. Now mages have an arcane, a fire, and a frost talents, you could say. So theirs is pretty limited, but they are very good damage dealers. Their sole job is damage. So once you get through, pick whoever you want. We're just gonna go with we'll go with a night elf, and we'll go with a rogue. Once you pick what class and race you want, and I suggest trying them all out. I mean, even if you only level to level 10 or 15, try them all out, give them a whirl. Once you get to this point, I'm just gonna randomize the name because I don't care what he's called. There we go, Rastorn. That sounds fun. If you want, you can go through and customize skin color, all the stuff here on the bottom left. So let's make him kind of white. We'll make him, ooh, there you go. Give him a headband, hairstyle, all sorts of fun highlights. And we'll give him the Wolverine look here. Let's get him, ooh, there we go. Ooh, I like that one, there you go. And we'll give him some, there you go, there's the Wolverine chops right there. So once you're all set, got your player looking how you like them, you're going to go down here and hit accept, okay? Now, created this character, level 1 rogue, you're going to enter your world. So now this one, once you do this, depending on what race you choose, it's going to give you a brief synopsis, kind of a cinematic intro to that race's homeland, and that's where I was going to start, in their homeland. So this one is going to be Darnassus. So I'm going to hit enter, and we'll give this a few seconds, and you can listen to the intro.
For 10,000 years, the immortal Night Elves cultivated a druidic society within the shadowed recesses of Ashenvale Forest. Yet recently, the catastrophic invasion of the Burning Legion shattered the tranquility of their ancient civilization. Led by the Archdruid Malfurion Stormrage and the priestess Tyrande Whisperwind, the mighty Night Elves rose to challenge the demonic onslaught. Though victorious, the Night Elves were forced to sacrifice their cherished immortality and watch their beloved forests burn. Seeking to regain their immortality, a number of wayward druids conspired to plant a special tree that would link their spirits to the eternal world. Despite Malfurion's warnings that nature would never bless such a selfish act, the druids planted the great tree Teldrassil off the stormy coasts of northern Kalimdor. Within the twilight boughs of the colossal tree, the wondrous city of Darnassus took root. However, the great tree was not consecrated with nature's blessing, and soon fell prey to the corruption of the Burning Legion. Now the wildlife, and even the limbs of the great tree itself, are tainted by a growing darkness. As one of the few Night Elves still left in the world, it is your sworn duty to defend Darnassus and the wild children of nature against the Legion's encroaching corruption.
Alright, so there you go. There's your intro to Darnassus and the Night Elf race. So what I'm doing here, I'm just moving stuff around. We'll get into mods, which is what this is, and add-ons later. First thing I like to do when I get a new character is I will go into my options. So I'm going to go through some of these, going to give you a brief overview, very brief, of what I like to put on just to make the gameplay a little bit easier, a little bit quicker, a little more efficient. Auto loot. I always put an auto loot, so when you loot something, say you kill something and it has 3 items in it that you can pick up, you know, scraps in a bag or something. You have to click on each one of those items for them to go into your inventory. With auto loot, you just click on it and all the items automatically go in. It's very handy. Next is going to be action bars. Now I click on all mine, so you'll see this one just popped up on the bottom here, and then this next one, and then the 2 on the right side just popped up. Now I use all of my action bars pretty heavily. You'll get a lot of abilities, a lot of items, a lot of potions and such that you'll want to equip to these bars so you have easy access to them. And that's actually about it. If you want to put on any kind of profanity filters, that's up to you. You can go through some of this stuff and look if you want as well. But that's basically all I do. So once I'm done here, I'll hit close, return to game, and all this is saved. Now, you'll notice, first things, your character, right up in the top left here, okay? Now, this isn't how it looks in original classic WoW. I have some mods in here that make it look a little different. I'm gonna load mine up real quick here. And we'll get into mods, like I said, later. There we go. So, this is going to be your character. The green bar you're going to see is your health. Now, as a rogue class, you have energy, and some classes have wrath, and some classes have rage, and some have mana. For a rogue, you've got energy. I've got 100 out of 100. Now, this little purple bar down here, I've added that on. That's my experience bar. You'll also find the experience bar right down here. See how it says 0 out of 400. So my first level is going to be 400 experience points. So once we move on from there, movement. I like to use the roller wheel on my mouse, and I can zoom out all the way. Now you can adjust these however you want, but kind of get something that feels good for you once you get the movements down. Movements are going to be W, A, S, and D, forward, back, left, right, and then Q and E are going to be your strafing, left and right. Space is your jump, so you can jump up. He does a flip, kind of cool. So once you get kind of used to moving around in the game, you'll get a better feel of how you want to customize it. There are some better probably tutorial videos on how to customize your movements, but I usually keep it pretty basic. It all depends on your playing style. Real quick with mouse movement, the left mouse, if you click and hold, will change your camera. Now, right mouse will also do that, but it also changes the direction you're facing, so it actually changes your person. So if you start running and you use the right click and hold, you'll change your direction. Whereas left click, you just change your camera, you still keep going straight. So, play around with it how you like, kind of get the movements down to where you want them. Moving on, first thing we're going to see when we get out here is going to be this guy, Conservator
I am honored.
Illithane, and he's got a little yellow question mark or exclamation point over his head. That means he's a quest giver. So you're going to click on him with your right click, go over here to Balance of Nature, and left click on him. So he wants you to kill 7 young Night Sabers and 4 young Thistlebores and then return to him. Now you're going to see these rewards. You're able to choose one of these rewards: archery training gloves and stem leaf bracers. You'll also receive 35 copper. That's copper coins. So we're going to hit accept.
Farewell.
Okay. Now I've got mods active on here so that right now all these little swords up here show me where these mobs or these ads are. So right here, here's one of them, the young Thistlebore. You're going to notice that he's yellow. So any yellow mob that you see is not going to attack you unless you attack it. Now mobs that are red will attack you if you get too close, especially if they're higher level. So be kind of careful with that. So we're going to kill 4 of these and 7 of the Night Sabers. And there's a Night Saber right there if you can see him. Bingo. So we'll go through this. We're going to go through the attack at first. So when you right click on an mob like this and you get within range, that's going to be your auto attack. That's going to be just regular melee damage that you do with whatever weapon you have equipped. Okay? Every class can do this. It kind of depends on what kind of class you're playing. If you're playing a melee class, you're generally going to have daggers, swords, maces, axes, stuff like that. If you're playing a caster class, you're going to have a staff or a wand. Sometimes maces as well, but I'll kind of do this real quick. So I'm going to right click on him, but it says you're too far away. Now you can see down here, it's trying to attack, but I'm too far away. And right now this little 2 and 3 and 4 are red. Okay, so that means I'm not in range. So once I get closer, you see it turns the regular white. Now it means I'm in range. Now you can attack, and there we go. You can kind of see too on the left here in my chat box here that my defense and my dagger skill is going up. So when you use a dagger, or say you have your daggers 50 and you switch to a sword because you want to get a sword that's got better stats on it, or it looks cooler, or whatever, that sword is going to be at level 1 ability to use, so you'll have to level it up. So you'll have to sit here and kill boars for a little while until you get this leveled up to a max level. And I can show you real quick here. So weapon skill, daggers, now mine's at 4 out of 5. So 5 out of 5 is max for the level I'm at. Okay? I know it's a lot to go through. It's a lot to look at here, guys, but you can do it. It's going to be a fun adventure when you get all this stuff kind of handled. But for the time being, we're just going to go through and kill some of these guys and get this quest completed. There we go. Daggers to 5. So now my daggers are at max for this level. Now as you notice too, every time I kill one of these guys, my level bar keeps going up. I've got 306 experience. So let me show you real quick here. When this guy, kill this guy, you'll see a little bit of floating text. So you see these numbers here? The white numbers are your regular melee damage. So whatever weapon you have equipped, that's the damage it's doing. Let's see if we can level up right here. Pretty close. See right there, in the purple, it says 78 experience. So we're pretty close. We're 16 experience away. So let's kill one more guy. You'll notice too that it's saying defense is going up. So when I hit this, my defense is now 5 out of 5 too. And all of this will go up as you level. Oh, look at that. We just leveled up. Congratulations, guys. So now that you've leveled up, your HP increases. You've gained 17 hit points. Your strength, agility, and stamina have all gone up by 1. Okay? So that means, let's go to your character page. Now go to your character page, you're going to hit C. Or you can click on right down here as well. Right down here there's a little character info. So right now, as a rogue, you're going to want agility. Increases attack power with both melee and ranged weapons and improves the chance to score a critical hit with all weapons. Increases armor and chance to dodge attacks. So you can read through all these too. Strength increases power with melee weapons. Intellect increases the rate at which skills improve. Spirit increases health and mana regeneration rates. Okay, those are going to be your main ones here. And stamina increases your health points. That's kind of a no-brainer, I think. So we're gonna go up to this guy real quick. I'm gonna give you a brief overview of abilities. So you can see these abilities. One's called Sinister Strike. Okay, this is a early rogue ability, and this is 45 energy. So remember the energy we're talking about up here. 45 out of the 100 you have. Okay. Now energy will regenerate as you battle, as you go through. I think it regenerates 20 every second or about that. So it's not just like you have 2 abilities and you're done. So you regenerate slowly. But we'll use this, and then it's going to say it awards 1 combo point. Okay, now the next ability we have here is Eviscerate. Finishing move that causes damage per combo point increased by attack power. So if you have 1 point, you do 6 to 10 damage, 2 point, 11 to 15, 3, etc., etc. And I'll give you a real quick show. We'll probably get 2 points off on this one. So click it. Now you can see 1 point right up here. Now if I use this, there you go. That yellow text right there, that's going to be the amount of damage that your ability has done. Not your auto attack, your ability. And as you level up, you'll get more and more and more abilities, which you'll be kind of comboing together how to use them. Now there's plenty of resources to look into this kind of stuff. Wowhead is a great one. Icy Veins is okay. A simple Google search will get you a pretty good place to go to. And it's kind of fun. He does a fun little animation there too when you do the ability. Now you you're probably thinking, well, is this just it? I'm just gonna walk around and kill boars all day long? Are you kidding me? No, there's lots more. Once you get leveled up, once you get level 10 actually, you'll be able to choose a kind of talent tree of which you want to explore. So there's abilities like poison. Now, as a rogue, you'll be able to poison people. Now, there's other ones where you can't poison them, but you'll be able to use swords and do a lot of dual wield damage. And there's even other ones where you'll be able to stealth and kind of hide behind people and come up behind them and stab them in the back. You know, there's a lot of applications for the different talent builds you want to go with. But that's level 10, and we're level 2. So we'll get to that at level 10. So we finished our quest. Right up here it says quest complete. So we killed our 4 boars and our 7 night stalkers. So you're going to right click on him again. Now it has the question mark. Balance our nature. So now we can choose our reward. Okay. Generally I would always say go with the piece that gives you the most armor or the better stats. In this case, leather, which rogues can wear leather, has 21 armor. This only has cloth and has 4 armor. So I'm going to go with the archery gloves.
May the stars guide.
So we've accepted that. We completed it right here. Balance nature completed. We got 255 experience and the 35 copper. Now if you go down here to your bag, there's the 35 copper. This is always where your money's going to be, okay? And this is always where your items are going to be. You can obviously equip more bags to increase your storage amount. So actually here, we'll put this glove on right now. So you click on it or drag it to your hand slot, and there, now you go. Now armor went up to 81. So we can click on these next few quests, pick them up,
guide you.
and keep going. Now this right here is Cryptid Sigil. We'll get into that really. That's about runes. So we'll take a little break here. You guys have a little bit of leveling to do, and I will come back later on with another video kind of explaining once you get to level 10 and talent points, okay? And then once we do talent points, I'll probably go through and explain professions and runes. So we got a lot to cover. But appreciate for sticking with me this far. It's been kind of an info tedious video. But until next time, happy hunting.